Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Saltcast. We are back. I'm your host, Alex. I'm here with Bert and Sebastian. This is our regular episode where we talk about updates and news and everything like that. And we have a movie review. We saw Madam Web. We've all seen that now. So we're going to talk about that. We'll give our thoughts, our opinions, and our final scores, like we usually do with movies.
And news.
And I think that will take us to the end of this episode.
Also news.
Yeah.
Bert?
Who
you
has
got
any
anything?
news?
Of course
What?
not.
You have to have something. Dang, I thought you were going to take like the big one.
No, I'm confused. Oh. No, you'd know. You'll be able to talk about it better than me.
Okay. Well, I'll save that for later and do smaller ones first. Couple things have happened. There was another Fallout trailer, and it looked really good. I don't know if you guys saw it.
Did
Yeah, I did see that. That was one of my things I was going to talk about too, but keep it going.
I really like Fallout. It's not like a top 5 series for me. I actually prefer Elder Scrolls to Fallout, and I really don't like Fallout 4. So, but I love Fallout 3 and New Vegas.
Yeah,
So-
I love Fallout 3. I've played New Vegas in 3 and 4, and I know a lot about the Fallout series. I like that franchise a lot. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, and it looks...
I've only ever played 4.
That's probably the worst one, honestly. I would say even these days, 76 is better.
I've only played a little bit of 76. But that trailer looked really good.
Yeah, it looked cool, which is surprising, because usually even, like, the good adaptations, you're like, alright, that looks okay. But never are you like, man, that looked good.
That's true.
Yeah, and this definitely looked good. Everything from the art style to the costume design, like the
It feels good.
the scenery, everything looked really cool. It looked super Fallout. Like it's like authentic to Fallout. Like it looked straight from one of the games. It looked pretty cool. Even the ghouls looked good.
Like one of those cut scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Fallout is such a good choice for, like, a show or something, because, like, Fallout really is just a setting. It's not, like, a story that you need to follow.
Yeah, it's more like just drop somebody or something, a group into that setting and let the story go from there.
Yeah.
It's got its own lore though, and like backstory and stuff that
Yeah, but
add
it's
to
like-
their like world building and everything.
Yeah, it's like world lore, though. It's not like there's a plot that, like the Avatar show, for example, that you kind of need to follow the story.
Yeah, they're free to make their own unique story.
Yeah, it's cool. I saw some stuff they said about it. They're like, yeah, the idea is basically is if we're making Fallout 5, but it's a show. Which
yeah,
is cool.
I saw that quote
Okay.
too, which is cool.
What is funny, though, related to that, I saw there was this IGN article, IGN again, funny stuff, where they were like showing comparisons between like the show and like things from Fallout, but everyone was like flaming them because for some reason they grabbed a Volt suit that was from a mod and not actually in the game for their like comparison.
That's pretty funny.
So everyone's
Yeah.
like, guys, what did you just Google Volt suit and pick the first one? What happened?
Yeah, they didn't do their research.
Yeah,
Just funny, IGN always messes up.
classic IGN
Classic.
goof.
But yeah, the Fallout thing looks cool. I think it comes out in April, so not too far away.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that on the show. That is one that we will for sure be
What is
discussing.
scary about this one, though, is that this one looks good. So, like, I will actually be let down if it sucks. Whereas, like, the Avatar thing, I was like, it's fine, I guess. And it was just fine. So I was like, yep, that was average.
Yeah, the Fallout games.
You have high expectations.
Yeah, the Fallout games have a goofy though, like aesthetic, and like they play into the over the topness of the world and everything like that, which is kind of It can be like really good and funny in a TV
Yeah, that's
format,
true.
I think.
Fallout is,
You literally throw mini nukes
but
in the
Fallout's
game.
weird because it goes from like funny to horror.
Yeah, it strikes a really cool
That's
balance,
true.
though. At least in the games that do it right.
Yeah, hopefully the show is too. I really want to see a Deathclaw. That's like my main thing that I want to see from the show. I'm assuming they would save that for like, a big reveal or something. It wouldn't be in a trailer. So hopefully we see a Deathclaw. I also
Yeah.
hope there's super mutants at some point because I don't think we saw any of those.
Yeah, I didn't see that. We saw Brotherhood of Steel.
We did see.
We saw the airship. I wonder what
Yes.
time frame this is taking place in. Like when to when and where.
I don't have my Fallout lore like 100% remembered, but it should be whatever the designated stay in the vault for this long time and then come out, because that seemed like it was the story.
Yeah, it might be. But all the vaults had different times, though. So it
Well,
could
most
depend.
of them were not that. Most of them were a lie. There weren't many that were actually, just you're actually going to come out of here. Most of them were just meant to be terrible tests.
Yeah.
But I
But
guess this
that'll
is
be
one
cool.
that wasn't a terrible test, or if it was, they didn't know and something happened. I really
Yeah.
hope that you get to see like some like messed up Vault-Tec stuff with either that Vault or another one, maybe.
You don't really, you see like the result of it in the games, but you never actually see, or at least to my knowledge.
I mean, you can go in some vaults
least
and
not
kind of
much.
like see some things.
Especially in Fallout 4, there's like a whole VR world you can go into.
Yeah,
Actually,
I mean,
and in
that's
Fallout,
in Fallout
3, actually.
too.
Yeah, it's in both of them.
Oh, I guess I just didn't
And then there's like
explore.
that cannibal one too, filled with like
Yeah.
cannibals.
There's a vault in, I think it's 3, where I forget, it might be wrong, but there is a vault that has in one of the games that has like all women in it and one male.
Oh, yeah,
and
I
then
saw
there's
that.
another one that has all men in it and one female. So there's
Yeah.
those two. There's all kinds of
Yeah.
crazy ones.
Well, you read about it, but you don't really.
I mean, there's a few vaults you can go to in
Makes-
the games. Like, there's usually 2 to 5, roughly.
Yeah, something like that. All right, cool. What other news do we have?
Sticking with games, there's been some complaining-ish stuff in the Halo community lately, which, yeah, I get that people are upset about this, but also I feel like it was so obvious. I don't know how they missed this, but there was like someone from 343 came out and was like, yeah, Halo MCC is gone and no longer being cared for and Halo Infinite actually, because not enough people are buying microtransactions or something. And like it must have been like 2 years ago at this point that there was like this community thing by 343. They're like, should we add microtransactions to Halo MCC? And everyone was like, no. And that's, I guess, why they ended up not supporting it, which I feel like is pretty obvious. Like, I don't know why that seems like a surprise to people, but they're like, what the hell?
Yeah, the game's not making the money,
Yeah.
and it costs them money to host the game.
Yeah, but that game is old now. It's not like it's had a very long life if you think about it.
Yeah, but half of it didn't work is the problem that most people say, which is reasonable. Like, you literally could not play the game for the first 5 years it was out.
Yeah, well, that's crazy.
But the like main like thing about this is like, yes, it does suck. MCC is like kind of dead or whatever. But basically, like it was putting together this thing. People are like, okay, so basically any Halo game that does not make microtransaction money will be abandoned from now on, is what they're saying.
Yeah, I mean, to an extent. I mean, at some point, every game is going to run its course.
Yeah, but I mean, Infinite barely did anything.
I mean, it's been, what, 3 years?
Yeah, but it's been 3 years, and after those 3 years, they got what they said they would have at launch, and then stopped supporting it.
Yeah.
So like,
I think the only way how you could counteract something like that is to simply not buy games that have microtransactions until they go back to ones that don't have.
well,
Yeah.
that's what I think is good news actually about the Halo community. Like, every turn that they've put their microtransactions in Halo have been epic failures. So maybe just one or two more of those and it'll work out a little better.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, maybe.
like
Maybe
everyone
someone
was
will
like,
wake up
no,
and
can't have it in
realize.
MCC, and they're like, damn. And then they put them in Infinite and they're like, no one's buying them. We're not supporting this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of games that come out recently that don't have microtransactions have blown up. Or at least minimal microtransactions.
But it also depends on the game, right? Because some of them, you have to think of it. People are like, oh, well, how did games survive before microtransactions? You have to keep in mind, games didn't last as long. You know, you had like a game going on for like 4 or 5 years max. And that's
Yeah.
like a great, like,
Yeah.
one that really held out.
Mm-hmm. And they're typically multiplayer games usually have like a release order that is more planned out, and there's usually another game coming within that 3 to 4 year span, if not shorter. Like you look at Call of Duty, that one's every year.
Yeah, exactly. So, like,
Yeah, that's true.
for example, Halo Infinite, the game was free except campaign, but like multiplayer is free and no one's buying the microtransactions, so they bodied themselves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's on them. Like, first of all, their microtransactions are super expensive. Second, they are usually not even good-looking items. So, and third,
They would-
like, the game just sucked for like 2 years.
Yeah, they would have been better off just charging the game as a regular standalone title without the free multiplayer part and just excluding the microtransactions completely.
Yeah, the problem is that the goal, which obviously failed, is to get everyone wants that Fortnite or whatever else lasts forever, Apex, like that 10-year game. And like, yes, a game like that, there's only two ways to do that: either the microtransaction route or the Destiny route, where you freaking keep releasing things for people to buy. Otherwise, you're not gonna
And you cut out.
you're not
the
gonna
old-
last 10 years off of just sales.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like people don't want that. People don't want a game for 10 years. I'd rather have a game every 2 to 4 years with no microtransactions.
Yeah, and it'd actually be good.
Yeah. Me too.
And I'm actually like, bring back DLCs and map packs, man.
Yeah.
You know? Those
Depends
were
on
good.
the game for me for that, but yeah.
Those are a good way to increase longevity too.
Yeah. But that's like the Halo controversy right now. Everyone's like, so basically, Halo is, at least right now, the people are saying that work on it. Well, actually, it's Microsoft mostly, because there was like these 343 people that came out and they're like, yeah, we actually wanted to keep working on MCC and make it sort of like a museum, you know, like we just take care of it for like preservation. But since we didn't put microtransactions in it, Microsoft pulled everyone off of it.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's
Classic
unfortunate,
corporations.
but I guess it's good to see that like this new setup at 343 at least isn't super toxic to hating Halo like it used to be.
Yeah.
They're trying to fight when they
Yeah.
can.
And it's probably a sign that they're working on the next Halo game, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. But also though, there was like something else I saw. I can't remember who said it, but like this same guy that was saying this museum stuff was like, yeah, but the door is open to let us return on MCC. Maybe one day they will, but right now they're not letting us. But like everyone there wouldn't mind. So
Yeah. Okay.
it's a possibility, I guess.
That's cool that you have people that care.
Speaking of Halo, even though it's only like lightly linked to Halo, Rooster Teeth just shut down.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
Pretty unfortunate.
Yeah, that was like, it's probably a week ago now. Yeah, they recently shut down. Honestly, I and I don't like hate Rooster Teeth or even dislike them. I just never watched anything of them other than Red vs. Blue, and even Red vs. Blue, I didn't even watch like the whole thing. I watched like the first couple seasons, or that's how they used to have it listed, but it ended up getting bad.
I don't think I really ever watched anything from them.
I think I watched a couple videos, but I never was into them.
Yeah, but that is a big deal, though. They are like one of those big,
they were a staple,
big guys, and definitely like big for Halo too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's shut down. Apparently, it wasn't financially profitable or something. They recently got bought by someone. Can't remember who it is, but whoever it was shut them down after like a year of owning them, maybe 2.
Interesting.
Other than that, here is 2 things. One more thing with Halo. I forgot. Actually, pretty much the rest of this stuff is just stuff I forgot to mention in our last one. With Helldivers being super successful, man, this is really just showing that actually the new 343 might not be as terrible as we think. We're gonna have to see a game of theirs come out to know for sure. But apparently, they had pitched a bunch of ideas for games like sequel to ODST or like horror games or a Helldivers type game, and all of these games were like shut down by Microsoft because they don't think anyone cares about anything other than like mainline Halo games.
Wow. That's not surprising, honestly. I mean, maybe it's surprising that it came from 343, but it's not surprising that Microsoft shut the ideas down.
There was so much potential too, because like imagine Helldivers, but instead of Helldivers, you have ODSTs. You have the lore. You have everything perfect for him.
Yeah, that would have been perfect. All you got to do is drop it right in the middle of the Human Covenant War and just put the Flood on one side and the Covenant on the other, and you have it.
You could do it on Reach even.
Well, it would be like a planet. If it was like Helldivers, it would be a whole planetary scale thing. So you'd have multiple planets, and then have the home world as Earth, obviously.
Yeah. And it could take place before, like Chief, like in the early parts of the war.
It doesn't matter, Chief.
Before Reach,
it doesn't matter if Chief's there or not.
No, I know. But
not even just
before Reach and stuff.
Not even just Helldivers though. Like there's so many other cool Halo games that could be made, like a Flood horror game.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Or another one that freaking got canceled. Halo Wars 3. Rest in peace. The only good series in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Watching a Marine turn into a Flood was truly terrifying.
Yeah, and imagine if you were like just an average person. Like imagine a Flood horror game set in New Mombasa when they crashed down there. Or if you want to make it even crazier, and this would be scarier, but you would be like, I don't know, like a civilian type, either Grunt or Jackal or something on High Charity when that's getting infected. That'd be crazy.
That would be pretty cool.
So unfortunately though, all the cool stuff was canceled, and instead we get like what, $20-$30 for one armor set or something like that.
For the colors.
Yeah. 2 more things. The big one that is like the recent, what do you call it? Like, just the thing everyone's talking about, you know?
Mm-hmm. The trending thing.
Well, I wouldn't say trending. It's pretty tragic, actually. The creator of Dragon Ball has recently passed away.
Oh yeah, that was a big thing. I just saw that was like 2 days ago, as of like us recording.
Yeah, well, maybe a little longer, but yeah. With Akira Toriyama.
Yeah.
I don't know if either of you ever watched any Dragon Ball.
I'm not like a big anime person, so I don't know enough. But I know he's like the godfather of anime.
Yeah, he's like the OG. He, I mean, personally, I'm not like a big fan of Dragon Ball. I don't hate it, but it wasn't my thing. But he is the one that inspired everything that I do like. So, like, pretty much, at least in the anime world, right? I'll explain it to you quickly since you don't know much. Dragon Ball was like the first manga to really pop off and get like a successful anime, with
Yeah.
Pokemon coming like pretty soon after that. But then in anime these days, we have what's known as the big three, which are like the three anime that dominated from like the late 1990s to like 2015 or 16. Like these were the biggest. Nothing was even close to them. That being Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece.
Okay.
And all three of those guys were like have said directly that it's because of this guy that they made theirs.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I did hear I did hear a bunch of things about people coming out and saying how he inspired their careers and like their path into manga and anime and everything. So he had a huge
He's
impact.
probably a huge influence
In
in
the
the
first-
industry.
anime world.
In the first manga of Naruto, there's a note at the end of it where he talks about how this guy was his inspiration.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So, tragic news. Yeah, that does really suck actually, because like Dragon Ball is so popular even now, and it's you know
it's still huge.
so old.
It's been around for a long time.
Very unfortunate.
Longer than I've been alive.
Yeah,
I'm
me
pretty
too.
sure.
I've actually watched through all of original Dragon Ball, which apparently I shouldn't have, because everyone's like, nah, Dragon Ball, I don't even remember what it's called, but GT or something, whatever the next one is, where they're older. They're like, that's the hype one. But anyways, unfortunate. Hopefully, you know, people can recover. Rest
Yeah.
in peace.
Yeah.
To keep it on anime news, though, and a little bit happier, but also could probably be disastrous, that I also forgot to mention was the Naruto live action movie announcement.
Oh yeah, this was a couple weeks ago.
Oh boy.
My opinion has changed, though. Like, if I would have brought it up last time, I would have said something totally different, because I've looked into it more, and I'm actually more confident than I was originally. Still not confident, but before I was like, it's gonna be shit, there's no chance. Now I'm thinking it's a 50-50.
What changed your opinion?
Just seeing who's involved and how heavily Kishimoto is actually involved in it as well.
Okay. That's good at least.
Yeah.
Maybe it'd be like well, hopefully it's not, but it could be like a Percy Jackson thing
Yeah.
where they loosely follow it, but they've changed a lot.
Well, here's
of it.
what I was thinking, right? Here are the guaranteed disastrous situations, right? Number one, they just ignore everything Kishimoto says. Obvious failure. That goes for any, adaptation.
Yeah.
Number two, they try and aggressively rush through the story. I seriously think that since it's a movie, the first movie should be The Land of Waves. That should be the whole thing. And then your teaser, whatever, at the end teases the tuning exams.
Yeah,
I think
don't
so.
know. I don't know how they're gonna do all of that in a movie. I don't feel like Land of Waves is long enough for that, and I've seen that.
Land of Waves is definitely
Well,
long.
they can flush out they have a training.
Yeah, you
arc.
have it's not only Land of Waves. Obviously, you still have the beginning part with Naruto and Iruka, and then you have him, actually becoming a ninja, meeting the squad. All that's going to take like 30 plus minutes just to meet the squad and do the bell test.
Yeah,
Then you have the Land of Waves. You have Zabuza as your final bad guy. Because think about first, it's impossible to do the whole show. It's just impossible. And then let's say, okay, you shrink it down to just original Naruto. What kind of movie has like 6 main bad guys? That's insane.
yeah.
Yeah. That's way too much, I feel.
It,
Especially for people that have no experience with it. They won't be able to track and
have
process.
there been other animes that have had a movie adaptation?
Dragon Ball had one and it was terrible. I've seen that one actually.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Death Note had one and it was pretty bad.
I haven't seen that one, but I did hear it was bad. But here's the thing, right? we are now in a time where it has a chance to be good, right? There's the blueprint with One Piece, kind of. Obviously, that's a show, so it's a little bit different. I wish this was a show instead of a movie, but I think if they do it...
The idea's
Yeah,
there.
I think if they do it right, and they don't rush it, like, do the Land of Waves, bam, perfect. That's a good movie on its own, even if it never continued. Like, you... Don't even think about the rest of the Naruto story. That's a good movie of this kid wants to become a ninja, manages to become a ninja, learns about like what this ninja world is like, and then by the end of the Land of Waves arc, he develops his ninja way, and that's how the movie ends. Like his like philosophy on life,
his path forward. Yeah.
Yeah, that's possible. It'll be interesting to see
that
how they
sounds-
actually adapt it and what they choose to do creatively.
It sounds like pretty like a good like plot. It sounds close.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Like a nice beginning, middle,
Yeah, and it
end.
won't feel like you're getting robbed. I mean, to people who have never seen Naruto, like they'll be like, okay, that felt like a whole movie. Like it can feel like it ends there.
Mhm.
Obviously,
Yeah.
I would hope they do more movies if it's good. But look, the point is, the reason that it could be good, like I said, Kishimoto is supposed to be heavily involved. The director from Shang-Chi, that is a fire pick. That's like the best possible choice you could ever get for this situation.
Especially for the fight
Yeah,
scenes.
well, duh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
Like nothing would. That's the very top line. Like that's perfect.
Yeah, he's
really
really
just-
good. I like him a lot.
So here's what I'm thinking. I think it has the chance to be amazing. I think. I wish it could be better than the show, but I don't think it will be, obviously. But like, because the show needs streamlining, and this could be the streamlining, but they need to not streamline it too much. Is the thing. It's a difficult balance.
Mhm.
So we'll have to see. That's what I think the biggest issue could be, is they rush it too much, or even bigger than that, they just do a total original story, and like the Naruto non-canon movies where they just grab the characters and put them in some situation and that's the movie. That would be a tragedy.
Yeah.
I agree.
So those are the two biggest failure points I could see. Hopefully not, because damn, I want that to be good. That could be so good. That's it for news, I guess, from me. Last thing, small thing, Naruto got a line of Crocs. There's like a bunch of pretty cool looking Crocs, like a Naruto one, a Sasuke one, a Jiraiya one, an
Really?
Itachi one.
I've been looking for a pair of Crocs.
Get the Itachi one, it's so cool.
Typical
Everyone
Bert.
loves the Akatsuki clouds, so
I hate Crocs. I'm not a Croc fan.
I don't
Why,
really
the
like
That might
Crocs
be
either, but
controversial.
Most comfy.
yo, Sasuke's look pretty cool too, because it's like Shippuden Sasuke, so he's got the rope, and that rope is the strap on the Croc.
Where do I purchase these?
I don't know, probably crocs.com or whatever the Crocs website is.
Probably.
Look at them though, they look pretty cool. The Jiraiya one's pretty shitty, but Itachi and Sasuke have sick ones. And the like hard thing, the what do you call it? The joint of the Croc thing are Sharingans.
That's awesome.
For them, not for like Naruto, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. It'd be cool if it was like his seal
Cool if it was a Rasengan.
or that.
It might be, actually. I don't remember. But that's it for news. Cool stuff, sad stuff. Hopefully the Naruto thing's good. Really sad week for anime in general, though.
Yeah. All right. I don't have any news. I haven't had time to really keep up with anything, and I knew you had a bunch of things, so we'll move on from that and get into our Madam Web review. So we've all seen Madam Web. We're a little late to this. It came out a few weeks ago now, probably close to a month, if not longer.
Yeah, but
And-
we actually tried to go 3 times, and there was no showings. Like, they only show it twice a day because it's so, like, unwanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty
It was
rough.
not
And-
easy to get in.
Yeah, it was, man, but I really hated it. I'll just tell you that right away. What were your guys' like initial thoughts? What do you think?
It was pretty bad.
I thought it sucked. It was one of the worst
Story-wise-
movies I've seen in a while.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. But I will admit, I had fun watching it. It was funny how
Okay.
like insane some
That I
things
agree
were.
with.
Yeah, okay. So if I wanted to rank it on a scale of how much fun I had, it was a solid 8 of fun. But if I wanted to rank it on how good of a movie it was, then that's a different score.
Yeah, wait until it's streamable,
Yeah.
and then like gather some of the boys and laugh at it at home. Don't pay for it.
Yeah, I would not pay to go see this.
Yeah.
Even though I
And you-
just did.
It's fun to
Tragic
laugh
part,
at, but not
Bert,
to
we got charged 3
Take serious.
times for that.
what.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that did happen.
On the Fandango app, it
Why?
triple charged us. Luckily, I think we got it back by now, but it was pretty upsetting for like those 2-ish days that it was uncertain if we were going to get the money back.
Mhm.
Like 3 times for this movie? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Honestly, our entire theater experience was horrible from the minute we walked in.
Oh my god, yeah. Unrelated to the movie, just the theater experience. Let me tell you what happened, Bert. We walk in.
Listening.
We go to get our food or whatever, our popcorn and stuff. We're like, oh, I'll take a large popcorn. The guy goes to grab popcorn. It's obviously the popcorn thing is basically completely empty. And he starts scraping the bottom, like the stuff stuck to the thing.
Oh.
He had to get,
And
he
we're-
got a different tool, like the normal popcorn thing. He was using that at first and it wasn't coming off. So he went and got like an actual scraper.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And we're like, what the fuck?
That's
It
vile.
looked disgusting.
And we're like, no, can you?
He couldn't just. pop
Luckily,
them for
someone
you?
else asked for popcorn. So he's like, oh, I guess I got to make some. And then we're like, thank God.
Yeah. That
So
was
we got
bad.
all our stuff. We go into the theater. I sit down, and this theater has recliners, which most of them do in our area now. It's pretty rare to see one without them. So I sit down, and the buttons on mine are completely broken off. So like I'm searching through what is basically just like random plastic pieces to see like where is the part that the button actually presses on when you press it, you know?
Yeah.
To try and freaking recline
sounds
my seat.
miserable.
Eventually I did manage to, but because the buttons are broken off, there's like this massive blue light shining out of my seat at all times.
Just blinding
Yeah.
you when you're trying to enjoy your flick.
Yeah, well, I didn't enjoy the flick. And then there's a
Well, you're trying to
and then
laugh at
someone
your
else,
flick.
I think, like the footrest was like almost at like a 70-degree angle, so it would just dig into your calves.
Yeah, that was bad.
Wonderful.
It was bad. So then we watched the movie, and you're gonna have to help me when we get to this part of the actual movie description
It
because
was like
about
5 minutes in, 10 minutes in.
No, it was more. It was maybe like 20, 30 minutes in.
All right. Well, it seemed like right away because I got distracted so early on by it.
Yeah, well, this happened, and at this point, I like totally missed what happened for like 10, 15 minutes of the movie because I was so terrified. Cockroaches started crawling across the seats.
No, Bert, you know how
disgusting.
in some theaters like there's the
would've
separation between like the bottom section and the upper section, and there's like that it's like a like
The
a wall.
handicap section.
Yeah, and there's like a wall
Yeah,
in
yeah,
front.
yeah.
You could literally see the cockroaches scurrying across that wall. They're just running across it back and forth, back and forth. It's like
Yeah.
normally you like kind of can like touch it with your foot and stuff, and like you put your foot up there.
Yeah, but everyone in our row, which was only us, pulled our feet like up to us, and we're like, "What the hell?"
We were like, what is happening right now? There's freaking cockroaches everywhere. And they were just scurrying
That is
around watching the movie. It
terrible.
was
And then I was just in a
terrifying.
ball. Like I couldn't eat the popcorn. I couldn't pay attention to the movie because I was like, "This is disgusting."
Yeah, man.
You were just
It was
in
bad.
your own personal hell.
And then every time you look up for some relief and you see fucking Madam Web on the screen, you're like, God damn it, this sucks.
Yeah,
It was just a constant assault.
it was just.
Yeah, man. That was horrible.
I'm never going back to that theater, which sucks because that used to be my favorite theater.
Yeah, that used to be one that we
Man,
would go to a
what
lot.
happened?
Yeah, I don't know. It really fell apart. I saw Quintessential Quintuplets movie there, and it was nice. So I don't know what happened. Maybe they
yeah.
just gave their like shittiest. Maybe they put the cockroaches in Madam Web on purpose. They're like, yeah,
Maybe
it's
just released
garbage.
them in there, yeah.
Maybe to improve the experience of Madam Web, they thought add cockroaches.
Maybe, yeah. All right, let's get into like
That
the
makes
plot of this
sense.
movie. This is going to be difficult than some of our other reviews, or more difficult because there is no coherent plot to this movie. There is no
And-
like structure
Yeah.
to this thing. So
And
I'm
it's
gonna.
so
This review is going to be
confused.
very similar to the movie. It's going to be confusing because the movie didn't make sense.
It just jumps around
I think
so much.
I'll try to. I think I kind of understand. Well, I think I was tracking a sort of plot.
I mean, I know
or sort of
like,
timeline.
something happened, yeah, but it was like
From what I understood, it started off with the mother, who
Just
was
don't know
a
it's
terrible
real.
actress, by the way, with this other. Is he Peruvian or is he just? I don't know.
think-
This,
it was two scientists that went to the Amazon rainforest to study spiders. One of them
both
is
of
the
them
mother.
terrible actors.
Yeah, one of them is the mother of Madam Web, and the other one is her like assistant, who is the character Ezekiel Sims, who, if you know from the Spider-Man comics, is like a really big deal and like super powerful, and he has like a bunch of ties to like the spider totems and like the web of life and destiny and all of that stuff.
What?
The spider
None of
hero.
that was in the movie.
Exactly. It should have been.
I don't
What?
even know what
And
that
so-
stuff is.
This sounds better than the movie.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was like, okay, we have Ezekiel Sims, we got Madam Web. Like, this has the potential to be like something pretty cool.
Dang, watching this, knowing who this is,
Yeah, because
and watching this movie was probably so
Oh,
disappointing.
it was, man. In
My
Marvel
Madam Web
Comics,
knowledge is just of that old cartoon
yeah.
where he's
so,
like she would occasionally show up and be like super creepy but pretty cool.
yeah, so the concept behind Madam Web is that she is the person that watches over the web of life and destiny. That's basically the multiverse of the spider people. And so she like can pull the
Oh,
different
wow.
strands and the different webs and
Now I
interweave
really
them
want to
and
see her come into the third Spider-Verse movie. I feel like she belongs in that if that's what she does.
She does, yeah.
Yeah,
It would have actually made sense, but now I never want to see her ever again. But
now you just want to deck her on
yeah,
site.
so that was what could have been a cool story. But instead we got this like jumbled mess with 3 other spider women. We got
No, they were just normal girls for the entire movie. They were
Oh,
not
yeah.
spider women.
you have Sydney.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna get powers at some point. I was like, damn, when is this gonna get good?
Yeah, I would have loved to
Never
see that
happened.
movie. But you had I can barely remember their names. You had Anya Cortizone, who is a pretty cool character in the comics. She's a spider person. We had Julia Carpenter.
Didn't get that from
Julia
the movie.
Carpenter is like Spider Woman, like one of the original Spider Women. And then I forget who the other one was. The other one is not as recognizable, but she's still like one of the major players,
Yeah,
like
but
in the
they
Spider
come in
Verse.
later. They're not even born at this point yet. So they're investigating spiders, right? That's what you were saying?
Yeah, in the Amazon, and she's looking for. It's not told at the time, but she's looking for this certain kind of spider because of whatever reason you find out later, and they eventually find it. And then Ezekiel Sims turns on Madam Web, Cassie Webb's mother, turns on her and actually shoots her because he wants to take the spider for himself, because apparently the spider has like magical properties and powers, and the venom of it has given like the people of the area powers. It's like the myth around it. And so he shoots her and then runs away with the spider, and you don't see him for a little while.
Yeah,
And then you have
I'm confused about that part actually because he shoots her, like you said, and he starts running away. But at the same time, these other people come down with like superpowers,
yeah,
right?
You just
Why-
get a bunch of Spider-Men basically
but-
climbing trees.
Why did none of them stop him? He's just a normal dude at this point.
Yeah, you could have.
Yeah, they could have chased him. Or at least one of them could
Yeah,
have
there
chased
was like
him.
Yeah.
tons of those guys, and none of them went out. Like this guy just murdered like tons of people and stole like what is apparently valuable to them, I think. And none of
Their sacred spider.
and
Yeah.
he just left.
Yep. And so all of those, there's a name for them. I can't remember what it is though. The spider people of that jungle.
The
But they all-
spiders in Spanish.
Yeah, but they all come down from the trees, and it's like one of the worst special effects scenes in the movie, and it gets repeated and used like 2 other times. But like it's
Oh
so
my
obvious,
God.
you can see them like on wires and things like that, and they're like climbing is awkward, and it looks funny, and it's not like great.
Yo, okay, so special effects might not be good, but I still think nothing will ever top Flash's effects being so bad. Like, Flash is still worse than the special effects.
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, like, this reminded me of Spider-Man 1, like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 1. Like, the technology then was like more limited, and this movie looked like it was that. I guess it makes sense because it's supposed to be taking place in 2003, but I didn't think you had to use 2003 special effects.
No, it's 2003, 30 years after this scene.
Yeah, it's like 73 or something at this point. But regardless, the special effects sucked. But anyway, she gets shot, and then the spider people come down, and they try to help her. They take her back to like this cave somewhere.
Cave, yeah.
Yeah, random Peruvian cave. And they have one of the spiders where I guess there's multiple of them.
Well, they like drown her first.
Yeah, they put her in this cave water and have a spider bite her.
Must
to try and heal her and give her powers, but it's unfortunately too late. And she dies in childbirth. She's actually pregnant. We forgot to mention that with Cassie Webb.
I guess.
Yeah. And so she dies in childbirth, but they're able to save the baby, who is Madam Web.
I hate to keep bringing up the small things, but it just is like so obvious, I feel like, when you're watching it. Like, the spider bites her, and this baby seems like it comes out at like the same time. And it's like, how does that affect the baby, you know?
Yeah. I don't know.
Because maybe the blood?
That part didn't bother me, but there's other parts. But anyway, and then I think we fast forward at that point to
something like that. I think he talks about how the baby will come back or something.
Oh yeah, there's like a throwaway line where it's like, she'll come back to this place and I will be here to help her or something. It's like, oh, okay, thanks for like the most obvious foreshadowing ever.
The real question is, how did she leave? She's a baby.
Yeah, she left and somehow ended up
get back to the States?
in the United States foster system. Somehow. I'm not sure how she got out of Peru.
To the States.
Probably better off in the jungle, let's be honest.
Yeah, she was born in a cave in Peru, and obviously that means that you end up in the American foster home system as normal.
Yeah. God, that must have been a customs nightmare.
Yeah, right? But, crazy stuff. And so then we fast forward to 2003, where Cassie is now in her 30s, and she's working as a paramedic in New York City.
Yeah, but a paramedic that does the jobs of not paramedics.
Yeah, she does everything. But with the partner, Ben Parker. So we have Uncle Ben is actually her partner on the ambulance.
Yo, he was actually an all-right character for compared to everyone else in this movie.
Yeah, so we get to see a young Uncle Ben, and
that was pretty.
It's weird because we don't know whose Uncle Ben this is. Is this an Uncle Ben of a Spider-Man that we have never met? Is it Tobey Maguire's Uncle Ben? Is it Tom Holland's Uncle Ben? Is it what's his name? Andrew Garfield's Uncle Ben? Or like, what's going on? Originally, the plan was that it was going to be Andrew Garfield's universe. But if it's 2003, like the timeline doesn't even match up. It matches up with Tom Holland's more than it does Garfield's.
What? So, Toby, not Tom.
No, if the baby was... Oh, wait. No, yeah, you're right.
No, you're right. My bad.
Oh, no, yeah, I am right. Because later on...
It would match up with Andrew.
Yeah, it wouldn't match up with Andrew. It would match up with Tom.
You could say either one.
I mean, kind of. Unless you're saying that they're teenagers and when they got their powers. The point is, later on... So you meet Uncle Ben, and you meet Mary Parker, who is pregnant at the time. And Mary Parker, for anybody who doesn't know, is Peter Parker's mother. And so she's pregnant, obviously, with Peter Parker. That's implied. Although they, for some reason, never feel the need to say that it's Peter Parker. Like, they joke around, like, what's the name of the baby going to be? And they're just like,
they should have.
I don't know. It's going to be this, that, whatever. And they never say Peter Parker. Like, I don't understand that. Like, why hide that? That doesn't make sense. Like, that's the one thing that you could throw in there that would make people be like, oh, that was cool. But instead you never use it.
I think it's because they really just don't care. It's just that make your thing, keep the license type movie.
I guess so. But, man, it's crazy. And so the timeline matches up more with Tom's, like I said, because if the baby is born in 2003, then by 2013 he's 10, 2014, 15, 16, he's around, what, 13 or 14?
Yeah, something like that.
So then he would be like a freshman in high school around 14 or 15. That adds up to when Spider-Man Homecoming came out, which would be that timeline.
That does track.
Look, who cares? It sucks. Better
Yeah,
that
it
it's
did
not
suck.
connected to any of them.
I hope it's not. Yeah, I hope they completely forget about this and throw it away and don't connect anybody to this, because it would just make everything infinitely worse. It would be horrible if they did that.
I agree.
Anyways, so she goes around being a paramedic for a while. That is like a pretty decent section, probably like 10 minutes of her doing paramedic stuff, but it's not even paramedic stuff because for some reason she does like very specialty jobs that do not belong to paramedics.
Yeah, she's like extricating people from cars and like following the fire chief around, and for some reason, and
she's at a live
That was
fire,
kinda
like
weird.
diving inside.
yeah, it's weird.
Very hands-on.
Basically, she's a fireman, but a paramedic.
Yeah. But
She does.
Yeah.
Then you eventually get to this scene where this car flips over on a bridge, and she's like, "Oh, we got to save this person." Instead of do it like someone that's actually trained for it, let me, a paramedic, crawl into this unsecured, like teetering
car
over
that's
the edge
dangling
car.
from a bridge.
Yeah, hardly
Shut
balanced.
the door behind me after I get inside. For some reason.
Yeah. And so she
It was
gets the
just
guy
insane.
out, but then the car falls off the bridge and she hits her head. And she ends up like almost drowning in the car, but Uncle Ben saves her and pulls her out. But
Somehow.
this is like, yeah, this
so
is like
now Uncle Ben is also like why would he do that? I mean, like, I get you're worried you would try and help your friend, but you're telling me she fell off this bridge in a car. He ran all the way or drove or something off the bridge, then back to the shore, then somehow dove into the water, found her, evac'd her from this car, and dragged her out. Like, that's insane.
yeah. But
Because he was on top of the bridge with her.
yeah,
That's a pretty insane feat.
it
Or
is,
did he
to
just
be
dive
honest.
off?
I don't know. But anyway, this is like the catalyst of how she starts to get like her powers. And so she starts to have like headaches, and like events are repeating to her. Like Uncle Ben takes her blood
Deja vu
pressure,
hitting pretty hard.
So-
takes her blood pressure, and then it repeats, and she does it again, but she can remember what's about to happen.
But
So
this
she's
is
kind of like having visions of the future.
This is because of that spider, right? I guess just hitting her head triggered it, or did she literally just fall in water and somehow that gave her powers?
No, it's supposed to
I
be
think
for
the stress of dying probably triggered something.
Yeah, something like that. And then it comes from the spider, but
Okay, so
Something
like
like
her
that.
dying almost saved her or something.
triggered something like that. Yeah, who knows? It's never explained.
Survival mechanism.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll buy that. That's reasonable. More reasonable than she hit her head and got powers.
But whatever. But then we kind of bounce around. Like, this movie is horribly paced, and it just jumps from scene to scene with like very little transition or like flow.
I think after that that's when you go and meet Mary. They just talk randomly, don't say Peter Parker, and then they get called back for more paramedic stuff. For some reason, they're like, "There's a fire." Okay, we're on our way. Us people who are not on duty in our house will answer this phone call and get in our ambulance that we have in our driveway, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Then she goes and they go to this fire, and the fire chief shows up, and she has like a vision of him dying. So she like thinks maybe she can stop it, and then she talks to him and is like, "Hey, let me drive the ambulance." And he's like, "No, it's fine." And so she ends up not stopping him, and then her vision comes true, and the fire chief dies, and she's got his blood on her hands, literally, as she is what's it called? Giving him CPR.
That's another funny thing about this movie. CPR is so prevalent and apparently just saves everyone. Like, she's probably saved like 3 people with CPR at this point.
It's the equivalent of cracking your finger and healing yourself in Far Cry.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
Literally.
She just gives
She-
people
CPR is
CPR.
all over the place in this movie. It's literally their scapegoat for everything. Just give them CPR; they'll
They
survive.
even have a training
And
montage.
it's almost 100. The only person who died but he was, I don't know, his was way different, I guess. But only one person died from like while having CPR on them. But she does CPR on probably like 5 people.
Like 4, I think.
Yeah.
But
He
man,
just
it's
saves
just
everyone.
crazy.
Yeah, so that guy dies. Also, they casually mention that this building that's on fire is a firework factory, but it's also
Yeah.
not a firework factory because it says Pepsi factory on top.
Yeah, they shove so much.
There was so much Pepsi product placement.
Well, yeah, that. But there's so many shoehorned lines into this to just like, oh, we have to make sure we come back to this place later. So let's make sure we say it 14 times. And oh, there's fireworks here. Oh, it's really explosive here. Oh, don't go in there. The building's on sound. Like,
I'm
so
just
many
shocked
lines that just
that,
force things down your throat.
That Pepsi makes fireworks, apparently.
Yeah. But I don't want to go through this movie like beat for beat because I just don't think it's warranted. Like I just want to hit like the major points and everything and like get to the parts that are like make me go, what the hell is happening?
Okay, so then the next thing would be
The meeting of the girls.
well, the guy has his like the bad guy has his dream.
Oh yeah, that's a good. Yeah, we'll talk about that. So Ezekiel Sims is in New York City now. He's been doing whatever, I guess. He has money and power, and somehow he's like very influential. And he keeps having this vision of these 3 like girls or these women that are they're gonna kill him. And it's actually a pretty cool scene. It's the only time we ever get to see the Spider Women in costume and using their powers, and it's blurry the entire time and foggy, and you can hardly tell what's going on.
Yeah, it's
I don't
motion
think
blurred.
they use
It's very
powers
hard.
though. They just like jump. There's no like powers.
They
used.
did.
No, yeah, they do. They use their powers. They hang from the wall. One of them's hanging from a web, and then Julia Carpenter uses. She has like this.
Lightning
Yeah,
ball.
there's a name for it.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I remember
her,
that.
Her web. That's some power she
But,
has, but I can't remember.
There's one more scene at the end where they show it for like 5 seconds.
And it's the
this
same
is-
scene.
Oh, is it? I
Yeah,
didn't
we
even know.
could even do
Yeah,
something original.
it's
But,
literally reused.
Yeah, anyway, so he thinks they're going to kill him, and then he's like, I need to find these girls. He happens
And this
to
is
be...
our main plot of the movie. Is this whole crux right here?
Yeah, so then he's like laying next to this girl, and he's like, luckily I know a NSA agent. And then she tries to pull a gun at him.
No,
stops
she is
her.
the NSA agent.
Yeah, I know. That's why she tries to pull a gun on him.
Oh
He
yeah.
stops her, poisons her. He's like, tell me
Kills
your
her.
password. And she goes, okay.
Yeah.
Tells him his
She has like some super secret
Yeah.
like spy
Apparently her password lets him log in, and no one ever realizes that she died in the government and that her login is being used for like these cameras or something. It's weird. Doesn't make sense, but whatever. He now has access to every camera in the world. In the US.
Yeah. How? That is so crazy.
Well, because he got her password
I guess.
Yeah.
and
But
then
it's
killed her,
freaking
and the
crazy.
government never wondered how she died.
Yeah, and they never noticed when she stopped showing into work and saw that she was being logged in somewhere else. And it was like, maybe we should check in on
Like,
her.
she must be working from home again.
Yeah. Maybe turn off her access until they
I just imagine a government
You know.
would change your password every so often too,
yeah.
especially for something like that. But whatever. So he now has the freaking that thing that Batman has, where you can see everyone,
Yeah. Which is kind of weird.
and then he starts.
Which I feel like that might have been a play on like something that he does in the comics. Like he's supposed to be like the bridge between, or like he's supposed to connect different spider people together.
okay,
Like that's
but
what he does. But in here, for some reason, he's. It doesn't really make sense. He's actually
So-
not always a bad guy either.
actually, did he kill her? He gets like an assistant later. Is that her or is that someone else?
No, yeah, he killed the NSA agent, and then he
Okay,
has
so
his
then he
like
finds
assistant.
another girl as his assistant.
When's a hacker girl?
And then somehow he like takes these images from his dreams, these girls, and turns them into real pictures.
That was BS. There was no way. Like, what was the point of the masks? Like, why would you wear a mask if some dude in a dream can just remember your face
Yeah.
and then some magic technology can reverse
Yes,
age you and be like, yes.
That's like a triple what the hell, because first of all, they had masks on in his dream, but he still determined their face. Second of all, he somehow took a face from his dream and turned it into a real picture of a person.
Yeah.
He was able to perfectly recreate.
Yeah.
And third,
When he
they
saw
were
us,
like
that's
a
another one of his
different
powers.
age from their current age, so they didn't even look the same. He's like, this is what they
Yeah,
would
this
look
was-
like, and he doesn't even know how far in the future this takes place, his dream.
Yeah,
So he's like, they clearly look like this, even though we've done a 20-year window of their ages. But nope, this is them.
Yeah. It's wild. Yeah.
And then she's like, now that we've taken this picture out of your dreams, let's look through this. Oh, look, they're all in the same room. Let's go.
Yeah, they all happen to be in
Yeah.
the same subway station at the same time. But basically, this is the whole plot of the movie. Ezekiel Sims is trying to kill these three girls because he thinks that they're going to kill him in the future. So he's hunting them down and going to kill them before they can kill her.
Wonder why.
And before they get their powers. Key right there, they do not have powers through the entire movie.
and they will never get their power.
Yeah, apparently. And then Madam Web, our hero, is trying to save them from this because somehow she was just involved and kept
Because
having...
they all were in the same room. So they all happened to be on the same train. And then in a scene that seems like it takes 20 minutes, she just keeps having freaking future visions of a train, and then a guy sitting down, and then another person sitting down. This was an endless scene, I swear to God.
Yeah, this never ended. It's like, okay, I get it. You can
Oh,
see
I
the
know.
future.
And it was the
We
most
get it.
goddamn annoying sound with that train passing in the back.
Yeah, like, we get it. She was seeing each of the girls die, and then...
But even before that, it was just like small things that she had to see 20 times.
Yeah, and we've already seen this happen. We saw her do these things already. Like, we get what she can do. So I don't know why they kept doing that.
Yeah, they're overshowing the same thing.
Yeah. But then we get this train scene where Sims is coming onto the train to look for them, and Madam Web is seeing it before it happens, and so she panics and tells the girls to, like, get off the train, that there's an emergency. And this has, like, a bunch of tropes, like, oh, they don't believe her at first, and they're like, who are you? And all that kind of stuff. But
I mean, that's reasonable. I would be like, what the hell? Shut up.
yeah, but
Why would I want to listen to you?
she does manage to get all three of them off the train, and then
Then one of them yells, help, I'm being kidnapped. But then the police just ignore that.
yeah. But Ezekiel Sims actually does show up on the train right before they get off. And it was a kind of a cool scene. He was, like, crawling on the roof, and that actually looked good.
He was actually kind of scary.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
scene was good. Then he kills like 50 cops.
Yeah, that actually was good. He took out those cops, like, pretty smoothly, and I
Yeah,
actually
you
kind of
can
liked that.
take out trained police officers, but not teenage girls.
Yeah, apparently, and with
True.
a psychic.
Yeah.
But with a psychic
That honestly
babysitter.
was probably the best scene, though, him taking out those cops.
Yeah, I think so. Thinking back to it, I think so. It was definitely the best action scene. But yeah, they are able to escape, and they steal a cab.
But then,
And so-
like, it was just crazy. Like, all these cops are dead, or at least knocked out. And, like, these girls are running away from, like, these cop bodies. And then other police run past them, and they just go. Like, no one's like, hey, why? Like, no one stopped them. I thought was strange, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it just didn't seem like a real situation.
Mm-hmm. And it was weird too, because afterwards, like, they hear on the radio that all these police officers have been assaulted, and now they're looking for Madam Web. Like, so he had to have killed all those guys. Like, he had to have. Otherwise, like, how else would they explain that it was Madam Web and not him? Like, somebody would have said, "Oh yeah, there's this guy in this mask. He just beat us all up." So I don't know.
Yeah,
It was confusing.
And then it's weird because they made it seem opposite. Because in the scene where he was beating him up, it seemed like the cops were on
We're
their
aware
side.
that he was there. Yeah.
Yeah, they
But
let
then
the
they make it
girls
seem like he's
leave.
invisible.
They let the girls walk away, didn't stop them. And then later they're like, nope, she beat us all up. What?
Yeah. Oh, you know what else was weird?
Yeah.
That I don't know if it was just me and I was missing something, or if you guys thought this too, but was he not, like, able to be seen by some people, like, randomly? Like, I felt like sometimes he was just invisible to the average person, but then for some reason the four girls could see him.
It seemed like that in the subway, but after that, it didn't really seem to
It
happen
was like,
again.
I was like, why is this happening?
Yeah. Now you pointed out, I'm thinking about it, and I noticed that.
Yeah, I was so confused.
It
I
was
was
weird.
like, I thought they couldn't see him, and then I was like, but they can see him. I was like, huh?
Yeah.
What's going
and either
on?
way, they escape the subway. She steals a taxi. So add that to our list of crimes as well.
Now she's wanted for kidnapping. The girls are all over the news and wanted because they've been kidnapped, or so they think.
And then her first
So-
idea is, let me get rid of these kids. And then she's like, wait, never mind. I need you to tell them I'm not kidnapping you.
Yeah. And so she drives them into the middle of a forest somewhere in New York City.
Not actually
they-
the middle of the
they
forest,
leave-
within walking distance of Denny's.
Yeah, they leave New York, and I guess they're in Jersey is what they say. But still, I don't know where the heck. I guess they took a long drive somewhere.
In a stolen
Upstate
car.
New York.
Yeah, in a stolen taxi. But
Yeah, for some reason that taxi driver never called to report that his car got stolen.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
she uses that taxi for the whole movie.
yeah, she loves that taxi. She takes the plates off, but that's about it. But yeah, pretty
I
crazy.
feel like there's trackers in those things.
She leaves
too.
she leaves the girls in the woods to go back to her house to see some journal that her mother wrote.
She was
And
so
then-
dumb here, though. She was dumb. Like, do you take 3 girls, right? And you take them to the woods, and you're like, stay here. I'll be back in a few hours. I'd be like, what the hell? You're going to leave me in the wood for
Yeah, what?
hours?
Yeah, and they just met her and they almost got killed. And they're just like, you guys got to trust me. All right, I guess. Like, what?
No, thank you. I'm gonna call my mom.
Yeah, well, they kept bringing up the fact that none of their parents were there. One girl's dad got deported. The other girl's dad was like rich, and her mom and dad left, and they're just in another country. And the other one got divorced. The mom went crazy, and the dad got remarried and forgot she existed, or I guess, or something.
2 things there that confuse me, actually. The rich girl, you would think, like, eventually her parents would be like, just because they are at least, know she exists,
Oh, my
they'd be
credit
like,
card
what the
hasn't been
hell?
charged in a while.
Where are you, or something like that. And then for the girl whose dad got deported, she said that she like didn't know her dad was illegal or something, which makes me think she was born there, which makes me like, why would she be worried about getting deported if she was born there?
Because she said that she was 17 and not 18, and she didn't want to be put into foster care.
Oh, yeah.
So she said that until she turns 18, she can't exist.
Yeah.
Okay,
That was
that
said.
adds up. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but regardless, she leaves them in the woods, and then we get like 2 different kind of things going on. Cassie's going to her apartment to get the stuff about her mom, and that's where she sees like her mom had a picture with Ezekiel Sims, who is the guy that was just trying to kill them.
She never looked through that in her 30 years of life.
Yeah.
Right?
And then the girls, they get bored and hungry, so they start walking in the middle of the forest until they hit a Denny's that
Then
I
they
guess
all
they saw
become
on the way up
massive
there.
sluts.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know what
That,
I don't know what was going on with this.
Well, they just start dancing.
That was
Yeah.
that would never happen.
They just started
look
table
at some-
dancing in the
they
middle
look
of a
at
Denny's.
some guys that look like they're 30. Like, those guys look way older. They just jump on the table and start dancing. Dude, you'd get kicked out instantly.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
crazy.
you would.
Go jump on a Denny's table, Bert. Tell me how long you can stay there.
Yeah.
I'll probably break the table before getting kicked out.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a weird scene. I did not like, okay, you can have them like make a scene and
go
flirt with the
talk to the
guys,
guys.
but why all of a sudden are you dancing on top of it?
And also, like, they were being like, everyone's just so stupid in these movies. Like, I get, like, go talk to the guy, sure, but they're, like, making the biggest possible scene they could when
Yeah.
they know they're trying to hide. Like, yeah, okay, sneak out
Yeah,
to eat
right?
and then quickly eat and then leave. That would be, like,
Or take it to go.
yeah. Or,
Yeah.
like, even if you want to really push it, eat and talk to the guys, but they are, like, biggest possible scene imaginable.
Yeah, that was crazy. But
The only
anyway,
good thing
they,
is you get to see them all die a couple times.
yeah, they all do
Yeah,
that, and they draw the attention of Ezekiel Sims, who catches them on like a camera somewhere somebody had, I guess.
He is so fast too. Like,
Yeah, he gets there in record time somehow. He leaves like Manhattan and then gets to freaking Jersey and who knows where. And then Cassie is on her way back, and right before she gets back, she has a vision of them dying. So
no, she gets there once.
oh yeah, she does get there.
She
does
gets there
get to the
once,
diner.
and then watches them all die, and then also dies.
Yeah,
And
but then
this was
reverses
confusing
time.
as hell to me though, because the first time she like was looking for them, she's walking through the woods following their path, I guess, and eventually found the diner, and then saw them all die and died, and then that caused time to reverse. So then she gets in her car, but somehow gets there later than the time she walked.
Yeah, it didn't make sense. Just so that she could
Maybe
drive the car through the
truck
diner.
she got stuck behind.
Oh yeah, she did get stuck behind a truck. I guess that was like supposed to be what happened.
But
That was the delay.
that's crazy. I
It
guess.
was crazy. But anyway,
So-
she drives the cab through the diner and hits Ezekiel Sims before the girls can get.
Dude, she drives so many cars into this man.
Yes,
this
that's
movie. That's
like
her
her
only
one
move.
move.
Is just
And
car.
through buildings.
Yeah. It's kind of dumb.
It is.
Tails does it in Sonic 2, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but at least she can fly.
she's no Tails.
You mean miles per hour?
Yeah, that's him. Anyway,
She saves them. They get in the car. I think
they go to a motel
Oh yeah,
and
that's when they're supposed to bond, where they're like, "My parents got deported. I don't want to go to foster care." And she's like, "Well, I was in foster care." And then she's like, "My parents are rich." And then the other girl's like, "My mom's insane."
yeah,
and-
they all bond over a shared love of performing CPR. And so
Yeah, they all do CPR.
Cassie teaches them
Pretty
CPR
important.
for some reason because this is her reasoning. This guy, Ezekiel Sims, when he touches you, like he can inject this like neurotoxin that might stop your heart. So if this ever happens to you guys, I need you guys to be able to perform CPR on each other because he's surely only
Like,
going to
that's
do it to
gonna
one
help.
of you.
And
not all three
apparently
of you.
CPR is
Well,
legendary.
if they
in
all
this
do it
verse.
at the same time to each other.
Yeah, so it makes no sense. But another shoehorn thing, like here, we need them to know CPR so we can use this later. So here, teach them CPR.
That shit, it's just so dumb. And they're like, I guess the only one I really like is Anya, and even her I'm just neutral with, but the other two are just like terrible. One of them's an asshole, the skateboard girl, and the other one's just dumb.
Yeah.
Like Anya's
man.
probably the only one who kind of like is reasonable sometimes. She's like, we shouldn't go to Denny's, we shouldn't dance on that table, we're being hunted.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Oh man, I just don't understand. Like the people making this movie, what did they think? Like, did they think that the audience is that stupid that we wouldn't like have questions
I don't
about
think they
anything?
thought.
Like, what the heck? Makes
Anyways,
no sense.
they learn CPR, and then she decides, guys, I gotta go. And then the girl randomly guesses Peru. She's like, yup, Peru.
Yep. So another thing, like this movie just jumps to random like literally jumps countries, and we're just like, from one scene to the next, she's in Peru.
And you know it's
It's crazy.
How does she get to Peru? She is a wanted criminal for killing police and
Yeah, how'd she even
kidnapping
get out?
children.
Yeah, how'd she buy her plane ticket?
And
It makes no sense.
how long was she gone? Because it didn't seem long, but maybe it was long. It seems
No,
fast.
it's never said. Like it could have been 10 minutes. Like she got a teleportation device on the way back, or it could have been 2 weeks. Like who knows how long she was gone. But somehow she was gone long enough to get to Peru, look at a picture, find the exact tree in the Peruvian rainforest that picture was in without
Well,
a
I would
guide,
say-
without anything. She's just wandering the forest by herself.
She did have like a whole notebook, so maybe it said a general area. Is my like guess on that?
Who knows, man? But
Maybe she had a guide.
I had no reason to believe that she was a expert navigator of the jungle.
To me, the more mind blowing part is how she got out of the States as a wanted criminal.
That too. But man, anyway, she finds this tree that her mom was, I guess, at in that picture.
Yeah. And then this
And
guy
then-
just happened to be waiting there for the last 30 years.
Yes. Remember the guy that we said would be there? He was there.
It's like,
And he's
finally,
just
it's
in-
been
he's
30
in-
years.
Last time we saw him, he was bald and had like fucking spider webs taped across his face.
So he's
and now
younger
he's just
now.
in regular street clothes.
He's now younger.
Yeah, it was crazy. And he's like, I knew you'd be here. Time for me to teach you everything you need to know.
But he doesn't teach her anything. He just takes her back to the cave, pushes her in. She
Takes her
drowns
to the
for a little
Peruvian
bit.
birth cave.
Yeah. Well,
And then because she's drowning, she sees her mom. And then her mom is like finding out. It's like a vision of her mom finding out that her kid's gonna have like some kind of birth defect, and she's like, well, I'll cure it with spiders. Luckily,
it's a
I had this.
degenerative disease.
Yeah, and then she's like, luckily, I happen to have this. I was expecting my baby to possibly have this, so I've been studying exact possible solutions to this, which will be the spider thing.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a heartfelt scene where like Cassie realizes that her mom didn't just like abandon her and go to Peru pregnant, like just to pursue her work.
yeah, because
She like
was
hates her
actually
mom.
when I
because
saw
movie.
that,
try and save her.
when she went to Peru in the beginning, I was like, what pregnant woman would go to the jungle? Like, did she not
Yeah,
worry
I
about
did
like
think
Lyme
that too.
disease or mosquitoes?
Yeah,
I
literally.
could see where they were going with it, but it didn't work.
It was forced. It was just like, okay, we jump into this water hole and we have a vision. And
Yeah,
that's
so she
okay,
finds out
everything's
her
solved.
mom loved her, and then they hug somehow through time. And then,
Yeah.
then she gets like spit out from the water. She's like, how'd you do that? She's like, you have the power to be everywhere at once. Remember that because you'll probably need it at the end of this movie.
Yeah. But yeah, then she
I
teleports.
thought he meant like figuratively, not literally.
Yeah, nope, it's literal. But she teleports back to the US, retrieves her cab.
Yeah, her
'Cause
stolen
that's-
taxi, which she parked in
Wasn't
her
discovered?
stolen taxi in an airport parking lot for her time in Peru. Is that what happened, or did she drive it to Peru?
I don't know. But anyway, she's back in her cab and she leaves the girls with Uncle Ben. That was something we forgot to say.
Yeah,
But it's 2003. I know that there's cell phones in 2003, isn't there? Like,
yeah, she
they're
throws
not
it
that
out.
old.
The girl's gonna call the
Probably
cops at the
flip
beginning,
phones.
and she throws it out the window.
Yeah, I guess that was their way of never having cell phones ever again. Because she gets back to the States, but just never thinks to call Uncle Ben. Be like, hey, the girl's good. Instead,
Does he even have a landline?
Instead, she
He would have a
drives
landline.
the stolen car to the house as there's an ambulance outside because earlier, Mary Parker went into labor. And so Uncle Ben decided it would be a good idea to take Mary to the hospital with the
And-
3 girls that are being chased by a serial killer.
Why did he not just leave them home?
Could have had them stay in the house.
Stay
Yeah,
here.
like-
I'm going to the hospital. Okay, simple.
Yep. But
They've been
nope.
safe there exactly the length of one flight to Peru and back, so they could be safe for a little longer.
Yeah. But they all rush to the hospital together, and then Madam Webb finds an ambulance, steals it. She loves stealing cars.
Well, because she has a vision of like them in the car exploding.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So then
And so I guess
they
that
are, like-
vision showed her where they were because...
she probably just knows New York that well that she saw like the street and she's like, I know that spot. Anyways, so like one of the cameras in New York sees one of the 3 girls that shouldn't be there, so that's how Homeboy finds out where they are.
That's how Sims finds them, and I don't know what he threw, but he threw a bomb, it looked like a pumpkin bomb almost, or something. I don't know, but
Yeah, it was weird.
he
how
starts
did
chasing them, and how did that bomb not blow them up? I forget.
Yeah,
Was it
I don't-
after he hit them.
I guess
I think
maybe she hit him while he was throwing it or something. Somehow his bomb
I
misses.
think her hitting him.
Okay, yeah, so he's about to throw a bomb. He jumps at them, and then and then an ambulance flies out of the second story of like a
a
mall.
skyscraper or
It's her
something.
special move.
Because for some reason there's just a ramp up to the second floor and then a wall. for a
She
car.
got the exact calculations needed from that vision to know where he would be, which is
But why
crazy.
was that building built that way? Why is there a car ramp in a building just to a wall?
I don't know. They don't know a lot of things about this movie.
Well, she jumps out of the building in an ambulance and hits him midair.
It's
And
crazy.
then instead of his bomb hitting the 3 girls, it just kills
The
a
aim is
taxi full
impressive.
of individuals that don't matter, apparently.
Yes, in the process of saving these 3 girls, this other taxi cab just explodes.
and kills everyone inside.
Oh man.
It's like, damn. All right, so 50 cops plus a taxi full of people for these 3 girls.
Yeah. And so
Well, they'll save plenty more.
then we get like where all the budget went in this like chase scene with this ambulance and him chasing them in whatever car he had. No, he was jumping from car to car like Spider-Man.
Yeah. He actually
His-
looked all right there.
Yeah, in his Party City Spider-Man costume. But which I don't know why he needed a costume. Like they literally that was one of their like designs of an old Spider-Man suit that they never used or like pre-made, and they're just like, well, we have this. Let's just throw it on this guy. People like Spider-Man,
They didn't have the budget to design a new one.
even though he never wears a suit in the comics, like ever.
I don't
He is
know about the
notoriously
So they
known.
could hide
He
the-
is
the stunt
notoriously known
actor.
to not wear shoes, though, which they do that.
I didn't even notice, actually.
Yeah,
Dude has dogs out.
yeah, all the
Gross.
time. Yeah, even on a subway. That was
Anyways,
gross.
Dude, they're barking.
he's chasing them down, and then she's like, quick, use the defibrillator on the roof of the ambulance.
At the exact moment that I
touch
say,
anything.
but don't touch anything. So let's defibrillate the roof of our ambulance.
I don't even feel like that would work.
It wouldn't.
It would not work, obviously. But they have the master plan to use the defibrillator on the ambulance roof as he lands on top of it, and it
So
shocks him.
him, and then he flies off, but then he just
Yeah.
comes back. And then she goes,
Yeah.
I have the idea. Let's go to the Pepsi firework factory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember that explosive building that was condemned and structurally unsound? Well, it's
Yeah.
important.
So then they get to this building in the middle of New York that was on fire and nearly burned down and destroyed. And there's just this massive open door. And for some reason, when they put out the fire here, they were like, let's leave all these fireworks here in this unstructurally sound building with the door
All the
wide
doors
open for
open.
anyone to steal.
Yeah. Dude, everyone in this world is brain dead.
Yeah, and they expect the audience to be too, I guess.
Like, they didn't even, like, kick a door open or something. It was literally just a massive bay door open and, like, half the wall gone because the building was, like, on fire earlier. Also, somehow
I
none
thought
of
there was
the
no homeless people in
none
there.
of the fireworks went off in the fire as well.
Yeah, which...
Yeah, I thought that was
fuck?
going to happen, but it never did. I was like, that's impossible.
No, they had
But
to
she-
save them for later, Bert, obviously.
Yeah, so she gets to the Pepsi firework factory.
Those fireworks had crazy plot armor, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lights
yeah.
some flares up, throws them in. All the fireworks start going off. The fireworks are not even fireworks; they're bombs. Like none of them.
No,
None
they're
of them
fucking
are-
missiles. They
None of them
bust
even
through
have
brick
like
walls.
colors. There's no like color. Like you would think, even if it's
They're just flame.
even if it's blowing up, you'd think it'd be different colors because they're fireworks. But they're literally just explosions.
They're just bazookas. One of
And it
them...
It
goes
must have been military grade fire.
Goes on
this is
for like
the-
20
oh, man.
minutes.
I never knew that I never want to see this power set ever used again, or at least not this way, because everything that is supposed to be cool is she has like a split second thought or like vision where something's gonna happen. So she says, "Quick, insert name here, duck." 14 times or something like that. Like everything she says is just duck,
Duck,
and then
lean left,
four-
jump, drop.
yeah, like missiles just fly over people's heads
She's
over and
just
over.
playing a video game.
That's her
controlling
superpower.
people.
Also,
Yeah.
on her way in, somehow with her stolen ambulance, she just grabs the radio and goes, "Bring me a helicopter." And no one's like, "But
Well,
that's
she said the lingo.
That part,
obviously.
that part was crazy. What
But it's a
ambulance
stolen
operator
ambulance.
has the ability to call in a helicopter at will? They're like, okay, we're on our way.
especially
Like it's GTA.
it wasn't even a,
like I
it
can
wasn't
just
even
pull
a,
out my phone in GTA and call
Maybe she
Merriweather.
called Lester.
but it wasn't even like it wasn't even a medical helicopter. Like you would think maybe like as a medical evac or something, but no. Anyway,
No, she
so
called
her,
in Merriweather.
yeah, so she called in Merriweather, and her plan was we get to the roof, and she had a vision of them jumping to the helicopter and getting to safety. So her visions have always come true so far. So you're like, that's gonna work. Then she just needs to get them to the roof. They are dodging fireworks, like you said. Duck, jump, left, right, drop, and then a firework blows up a brick wall. But somehow that brick wall that they go through takes them to the top floor.
Yeah. I think it took him to a staircase.
Yeah.
So then
It was magic.
they're at the top, and she's like, "Good, all my visions have come true so far." And you're like, "Yeah, they all have." And then the helicopter gets shot by one single firework and explodes in a massive ball of fire, killing another vehicle full of people.
Yeah. Oh man.
There's a lot of casualties.
And then you're
from,
like, "Wait, her visions suck. They're not even always right."
Yeah. Oh man.
And what helicopter dies to a single firework?
Yeah. Well, these fireworks, I believe it. These fireworks are powerful.
It was crazy. So then, like, the whole building starts collapsing from these fireworks, like, blowing shit up. And, like,
Yeah.
holes are appearing. And she's like, "Girl, stop." And then she stops and a bunch of metal flies into the wall. And it's just crazy thing.
She
More
grabs
of
a
this.
piece of sheet metal and like starts carrying it around like a shield.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
yeah, like Captain America. Man.
There's supposed
Yeah.
to be a badass moment where she stops a piece too, and it's like, oh my god, this is horrible.
They're all these other girls are just watching her and running around. And then she has another vision, which I think was of an S hitting the guy, but that's not even what happened.
Yeah, it's weird.
So she
Oh, this part is so good.
so then
This part was so good. I laughed in the theater.
she's like getting backed up by like the guys chasing her down, and she's like slowly backing away, but she's backing onto the sign, the Pepsi sign of the
Yeah.
Pepsi firework factory. And all the girls try and save him or save her,
Her.
and each one is just like casually pushed aside and hanging
Yeah.
off the edge now.
to separate them all. Yeah, they're all in 3 different places.
They're all in moral peril.
Yeah.
And then he goes, "How could you ever be in 3 places at once? That's not one of your powers."
The most like shoehorned line ever.
On
I was
the
like, oh
nose.
my god, really? She's like, you could.
hurt
It was
to
so
hear.
like evil villain. I want to take over the world monologue type thing ever. It was like, you could never hope to be in 3 places at once. And
You
she's
can't
like,
help
"Just
all
you
3
wait."
of them at the same time.
And she's like, oh, but I can't.
Then she like goes and shoots out lasers from each side of her towards the girl to create ghosts of herself, and the guy's like, "What the fuck?" and just punches her in
Yeah.
the face.
Yeah, and she does save them though, in this way.
Kinda.
Yeah, kinda.
I just
Man,
like how
that
she
part
just
was
did that
so
right
funny.
in front of him too, though. Like,
Yeah,
and he was just like, "Fuck you."
yeah, it was
Dude did
wild.
Oh
not
my
let her
God.
finish.
Anyways, so for some reason he punched her and then let her stand up, readjust herself, and then get ready for the next bit,
Yeah.
where she backed
This-
onto.
This is the part that I was thinking of.
So then
This
she gets
part
on
is
the
so
sign,
funny.
and she looks at the S, and she looks back at him. She
But
takes
for
a couple
context,
steps.
we've like the camera has panned to this S like 4 or 5 times already. Like we know
Yeah.
that this S is important. Like we get
They're
it.
shoving it down her throat.
But then this is what happens here. Let me tell you exactly. She looks at the S, looks back at him, takes a couple steps back, looks at the S again, looks back at him. She's like, "Come on, come on!" Like out loud.
literally says the words, "Come here, come on."
Looks back at the S, looks
You
back
don't-
at him. She's like, "A couple more steps."
It was
Looks
like
back
my-
at the S.
you don't think that like a guy that at this point probably knows that she can see the future?
Even if he doesn't, he should be like, "Well, she probably is planning something. I probably shouldn't listen to
Yeah.
her."
Yeah, let me not play into her hand.
Like Sebastian said this on the way home in the car. He was like, "My dog's not even this dumb. Like my dog wouldn't even
Yeah.
come to this command."
Yeah,
It's so
like-
funny.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. And she's like, "Come on, one more step." And he's like, "Okay."
imagine the guy you're fighting be like, "Come on, one more step," and you just oblige.
So he takes that one more step, and then the S that she's been looking at, nothing happens to it, and a P hits him instead.
Yeah. Oh man, it's funny.
He like falls.
What a twist!
He falls off of the whole sign starts falling down. Really, he falls, hits the ground, somehow survived the fall, but then the P lands on him, and you realize,
No, I
wow,
think I think this part the S actually did hit him on this part.
no,
think
it
it
was the
was.
P because I remember him looking. His head was in the middle of the P.
Oh, maybe you're right then.
I know it was the P. So the P crushed him. P for Pepsi. Pepsi saves lives.
Hell yeah, Pepsi Man for the win.
Pepsi fireworks.
Yeah.
And then after he's crushed, the sign keeps falling, and she falls in the exact same way he did, but somehow she landed in the water and he landed in a parking lot, even though they were standing next to each other.
They're standing next to the bay. He lands in the parking lot and she lands in the river, even though they fell from the same spot.
That's wild.
And then you're like,
man.
okay. And then another Pepsi firework blasts her in the face.
Oh, this part, I just thought of this too. I was like, man, like, this just shows that they had no confidence that they could write a movie with her being blind throughout the entire thing. They're like, all right, she's completed everything we needed her to do. Now let's blind her. How do we blind her? I don't know. We got any fireworks left? Yeah. All right, shoot one off in her face. Like, what?
And she couldn't see that coming in her future.
Yeah, what the heck?
She saw everything else but that.
Hey, have you guys ever seen the Book of Eli?
No.
No.
God tier movie. You got to watch that sometime. It's just because I don't want to spoil things for it if you do ever watch it, but you reminded me of it. Anyone who's listening, you might know what I'm referencing here with like the similarities, but it's like this, but good.
Man, that was crazy. And Madam Web is like supposed to be blind, so like I get it. Like she had to get there at some point, but it was like, oh my gosh, like really?
Yeah, so after she's hit in the face, blonde girl dives in and pulls her out, and they're like, finally, our training can come to use.
And they take turns giving her CPR.
Quick, interlock your fingers. 1, 2.
Did they even say like switch?
Yeah, after like 3 chest compressions, I'm getting tired, switch.
Yeah.
This is too much for me.
And it
they
literally
save
took
her.
all 3 of them.
Yeah, that was so stupid.
With our powers combined.
Power of friendship saved the day.
Woohoo. And
Yay.
then I think it just cuts forward to where she now has legitimately just owns these children
Embrace.
now somehow, even though
You
they have
adopted them or
families. So
something.
Yeah, I don't
you'd
know.
think the rich girl's parents would be like, yo, why did you steal my kid? You'd think the girl with the deported dad might actually care about her father and go looking for him, but no, he's deported, so he's dead. No point in ever talking to him again. He no longer exists in her life.
Yeah.
Like, you would think she'd care, but nope, he's gone. Other girl, hers kind of makes sense. Her family actually didn't want her, so sure, that one's reasonable.
I think that one is even blown out of proportion. Like she's like, yeah, they just never wanted to ever be near me ever again. But it was like that scene in the hospital where like the stepmom was shot and the dad's like, I think you should just sit this one out. Like that's all he said.
Yo,
Yeah, I think she just overreacted.
That must be the cockroach part, because I don't remember that scene. Like, I remember you guys saying, like, yeah, or I remember when she was introduced, like when all the girls met, and she's like, hey, I know you. How do I know you? And she's like, yeah, you're that weird paramedic. And I was like, what? I must have missed that scene. I don't remember that scene. That must
Yeah,
have been when the cockroach happened.
Yeah, there was the scene where
That's disgusting.
yeah, where the dad was like, just wait out here, and she took that to mean leave our family and never come back.
Okay, yeah, so maybe that's not reasonable.
Yeah. Oh fuck, this movie, man. It was
Anyway,
bad.
so fast forwards, like we said, she owns these kids now somehow. They're in the hospital. She's blind.
It was a cool wheelchair.
oh man.
That's later, but yeah, we can go to that. It doesn't matter, the hospital thing anyways.
Yeah. She does have a wheelchair at the end. I guess that falling in the
hospital
water
does kind of
paralyzed her.
matter, actually, because the hospital does kind of matter because that's when the responsibility line. No, that's in the cave. Never mind. We shouldn't have skipped that.
Oh yeah, that part pissed me off. I was this is how you know that people that made this movie don't care about the character of Spider-Man. They don't care about like the Marvel comics or like their audience, because they literally, somebody was in a room, I guarantee this is how this happened. They're like, all right, how do we tie this to Spider-Man? We have Uncle Ben, right? What's that line that he says? Oh yeah, people love that. Let's just make it and turn it backwards. That'll be good. And they just say, instead of saying with great power there must also come great responsibility, they say, once you accept this responsibility, great power will come with it, or something like that. They reverse it. But there was no reason for this line to be in that movie. Like, the responsibility, power, great power, responsibility, like,
They could have made
that
it
as a-
work if they had it being like her taking responsibility for these girls.
That's what they
Yeah.
tried to make it seem like, but it was stupid. There was no point. Like,
Nothing-
that's a
it
powerful
wasn't thought
line
out.
within like the Spider-Man mythos. Like, that's not a throwaway line that you just throw in every Spider-Man movie. Like, that's not. I didn't like that. I was like, what the heck? Why are you even saying that?
But anyways,
Shut your goofy ass
yeah,
up.
that was
Yeah,
wild.
literally.
And it literally felt like a fan film where it's like, we can't say the thing, so get as close
Yeah.
as you can.
But the thing is they can say it. They literally can. They have the license to Spider-Man. Sony can do anything they want. They could have put a Spider-Man
They
in this
just chose
movie.
not to.
They just chose not to,
Yeah,
which is
well,
crazy.
That would have made it too good.
you'd think
Imagine
they'd start-
having the rights to do it and not doing it.
You think they'd start to worry about like just destroying the IP, like just lowering its value so much.
They're lucky they haven't put Spider-Man in any of these movies. That's why they're not destroying it.
Maybe
'Cause
that's
luckily-
the strat, though.
They're probably afraid to add them because they know it's not going to.
But
Or they're afraid it's not
Another
going to perform
scene
well.
that I thought was troll, similar to that one, is I think it's in the hospital, but it might be at the house later, where like they all get back and she's like blind or something. She now has her powers fully. She's blind and crippled, and
And she becomes a completely different character too. Like she just starts talking in riddles and like making no sense. I'm
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
did you lose your vision and get paralyzed, or did you like develop some sort
get
of like
brain damage,
brain
too?
damage?
well, and then she also just like, so Ben is like her best friend through this whole movie, and that at the end she just hits him with like the hardest troll of all time. It's like, man, he really loves being an uncle, so he doesn't have to like deal with the responsibility. And then she just like
all
laughs
fun
at
and
him.
no
She's like,
responsibility.
that's what he thinks till his whole family dies. What a loser.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Well, yeah, his brother does die, and then he gets shot. So
And she just giggles at that. She's like, that's what he thinks.
yeah,
My
Oh,
best
man.
friend's gonna lose his family. Hilarious.
But she doesn't think maybe I should try and stop that one. But yeah, she just stopped
Yeah.
the death of these three girls. Like, maybe I should save my best friend. Nah.
Maybe she knew the importance of letting Spider-Man lose his uncle. It was his
I
canon
mean, the
event.
real Madam Web would have made a decision like that. But it just, for this version,
But
like,
this character
like
wouldn't
that was
have.
never warranted at that point. Yeah, this character never developed to
Yeah.
that point. So I don't know, like,
There was no reason for her to be cold yet.
yeah. But whatever. And that's the movie.
Yeah, then it pretty much ends. To answer your question, though, you said earlier, like, how did she get crippled? I don't know, but what I was thinking, because I was like, how did this just get washed away, like, totally ignored? I was thinking maybe that's, like, that genetic disease thing coming finally, because that
yeah,
just
maybe.
totally got
I thought
ignored.
about that too. They never mentioned the fact that she's in a wheelchair, ever.
Well, not
She just
even,
is
like,
in
I
one
thought
scene.
they
maybe
don't
her
the,
hitting
like,
the water broke her back.
The whole
That's what
thing
I
with
thought,
her,
too.
maybe though. But like the whole thing was her mom was like, "Let me find these spiders to stop my baby's disease," but she never had the disease.
That's because I think
when
when
the
she
spider bit.
died,
When the
Yeah.
mom got bit, instead of saving her, it actually transferred some of the power to the baby. So that's why she didn't get it.
Okay, even though the baby was already out.
Well, I guess I don't know.
I think the spider people said they gave the baby the venom to
Something like that. Yeah, something happened
Okay.
with the spider venom.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes
They
one
knew.
thing. Okay, so basically, don't see the movie. Maybe stream it and like get drunk and watch it or something.
Yeah,
Watch it intoxicated.
yeah. As a Spider-Man like fan, this sucked awfully. This was horrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you
Casual
guys
I
want to
will-
do the final
I-
ranking?
pretty
I
and
will
scores?
say though, this is gonna sound like I'm shitting on it, but
You should.
no, not on this, but I still think the Avatar live action has worse acting. That acting is so bad.
Yeah, some of this isn't the actors. Some of it is just really horrible writing.
Yeah, I
Really
don't
horrible.
actually think like
I think
most
the
of the
girls act
actors were
pretty
all
okay.
right.
Yeah, the
I-
main four were really good, I thought.
The
Oh, I
bad
feel like
guy
they weren't
didn't
really
feel
good.
like
They
was
were
very
good.
good.
Oh, that's one thing we didn't mention. We got to mention this real quick. Some of the worst ADR I've ever seen in my life. That's when like there's an actor has already recorded their physical performance, but you want to put different dialogue in. And so like sometimes they
see.
CGI the mouth and make it match
Oh,
up.
yeah.
They didn't
I
even
saw
bother
that.
CGIing the mouth. His mouth just doesn't move. And but
That's
yet
what
he's
that was.
speaking.
I thought it was some projector messing up stuff.
No.
It happens.
that's
There's like
literally-
2 scenes that it happens in.
Yeah, but it lasts for like a solid minute or two, where his mouth isn't moving, but he's talking, or his
Or
mouth
it's
is moving and it's not matching up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's because this movie was rushed and just forced out of like the machine, and they had to put it together, and they had to do stuff in post or in post production and try and make things fit so that they could just release it. So it just shows how much it was rushed and just like mixed and matched together, which sucks. That's why some of the scenes don't flow either, and there's no pacing to it.
Plus, you got to Peru so quick.
Yeah, exactly.
And teleports back.
It's like they had scissors and they literally cut pieces out and flip-flopped them and put them together. It was horrible.
There was another movie, and they were just taking clips from that movie
Yeah.
and stitching them to make this one.
Yo, funny that you mentioned that. At the end of the movie, when she starts having visions of the future, there's a scene of one of the girls climbing a building. That exact scene is a scene from Spider-Man 2 where he climbs a building.
Yeah, it's stock footage from an old Spider-Man movie.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's funny.
You can look it up. It's like frame for frame, exactly
yeah,
the same.
Look up
That's so bad.
Madam Web Spider-Man 2 building. I saw some hilarious comments on like this video of it. People are like, my favorite part of the movie was when Spider-Man 2 building showed up.
Yeah. Oh man. All right, let's do our final scores.
3.
Who's going first?
I'll give
3?
it a 3.
All right, Bert.
Yeah. A 3.
I give it
3.5.
I think I give it a 2. I think I liked it worse than that. I thought it was a 2.
Liked it
I think that's
worse.
because you knew more about it. If I knew more about Madam Web and
probably.
Spider-Man, I would probably hate it.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I mean,
the
I still
Marvels,
didn't
I
like
liked the
it.
Marvels better than this. At least the Marvels I like could enjoy at times.
At least the Marvel felt like it was a movie, like the scenes connected to each other.
Yeah, it just
was
wasn't a good
stupid.
movie. Yeah,
This just
But at
feels
least
like
it was
random
great.
scenes gathered together.
yeah.
I think, you've convinced me. I think I like this less than Flash, but Flash still way worse visually.
Yeah, visually, the effects of Flash are some of the worst I've ever seen in like a blockbuster, multi-$100 million budget movie. Flash has some of the worst.
The plot of this is so stitched and inconsistent. that It's
Yeah,
not good.
it's bad. But that's it. So you don't have to see it now because we did. So, all right. I think that's it for this episode. I think we're pretty much done.
Yeah, well, I wanted to mention something actually, mostly
ahead.
because I figure you guys won't beat Halo Wars 2 by next weekend.
Oh yeah, that's
Invincible
unlikely.
comes out again in 3 days.
Ooh, okay. That gives us
So-
something to fill that spot with then.
Yeah, that will probably be
Yeah,
what our next
that's
video is
probably
about.
doable.
All right, cool.
So,
look
get
forward
ready
to
for that one.
Invincible is starting up again. We will talk about that next episode. So be ready for that. And then I think that's pretty much it for this. If anybody else has anything that they want to add, feel
I'm
free to do
excited
so
for
now.
Invincible.
Me too.
Yeah, me too. I enjoy that show.
Yeah,
Me
and
too.
I feel honestly, it ended right when I felt like it was getting started. So
Yeah. That'll be exciting. That'll be fun. All right.
Well,
I think
keep it
that's
salty.
it. Yep. Goodbye, everybody.
see ya.